Hey, what's up guys, this is Saman here from Explore Gadgets, and today I have with me the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, and I have 20 games I play on my S10 Plus. Also, at the end of this video, I'll be talking about its performance, so stick to the end. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon if you don't want to miss out on some more upcoming content. So without any further delay, let's get this video started. This video is sponsored by Nox Player 6. If you ever wanted to play your Android games on your PC, then look no further than Nox Player 6. The games run smoothly according to your PC specs and with the great engine on the Nox Player. It is compatible with many games, so you can always have new games to play with. It also supports keyboard, gamepad, script recording, and multiple instances. Download to get a great Android gameplay experience on your PC now. The links are on the description. So first up we have Oddmar. Here you control the enormous Viking protagonist, a shellfish little oaf who is pressed into duty when his entire village disappears. He is granted a mystical power by the forest creatures that allows him to jump around by throwing down mushrooms. But in exchange he has to also save the great forest from evil creatures. All in all, the graphics are great and the gameplay is amazing. And it's a good game to play. Next up we have Hybrid War. Hybrid War is an augmented reality shooter that plays a lot like a game of laser tag. You'll have to print out a few barcodes, strap them to your friends, and then it's off to the races. You can use your phone screen as your sights, so when someone happens to cross your path, you can make sure to blast them to smithereens with some precision. The gameplay is really fun and it's a blast to play with your friends. Next up we have Caves Roguelike. This is a classical turn-based roguelike style game with pixel art graphics. The main feature of the game are caves that you can dig throughout using your pickaxe. You can choose your weapons ranging from a melee type of swords, claws, axe to the range type like guns, bows and shotguns. And the unique system of the game is the cave system, where you can mine and destroy blocks. And some of the blocks contain money and gems that can be used to either buy or upgrade your character. And the map is pretty big too, and it's a fun game to play. Next up we have Linn Path of Orchids. This is a brand new puzzle platformer that borrows its visual style from Monument Valley. You play as a Ban, a guardian of nature who is on a quest to rejuvenate the ancient Tree of Light. You've got a solid platformer here that does just about enough to set itself apart from the competition. All in all, it's a great game. So first up we have Mushroom Wars 2. The whole thing about this game is about building up your army so you have got more soldiers than the other side. You will win when all of the bases on your map are your color, and you will lose when the opposite happens. There are different types of buildings that change how the game works a little, and you can select a bunch of your buildings by tapping 3 fingers on the screen. Overall, this is a solid strategy game that is all about the numbers. Next up we have Kingdom Rush Vengeance. Vengeance is the 4th entry in the mecha popular Kingdom Rush Tower Defense series, and this is the entry that makes the most changes to the gameplay. Levels themselves are fairly long, taking about 30 minutes to complete, so there's a lot of gameplay here even if you're not a completionist. There's such a wealth of experience on display in Kingdom Rush Vengeance that anyone with even the slight affinity for tower defense game is going to enjoy every second they spend on it. Next up, we have This Is the Police. This game has you playing the role of the police chief, Jack Boyd, who must somehow get $500,000 fortune in 180 days, which is the time his forced retirement kicks in. How you earn this money will come down to some tough moral choices as you try to manage the crime in your city and juggle dealing with the mafia, corrupt cops, and steady politicians. Next up, we have Evoland 2. Here you have been flung through time, and you must find your way back, and of course go on many adventures, defeat foes, and make friends along the way. What sets the Evoland franchise apart is the fact that you won't be playing in just one genre of game or graphics engine. Your view and interface with the game will be changing from locale to locale. And while you aren't necessarily going to thrust into a new situation each moment, the story will keep you fixed. Next up, we have Pocket City. Pocket City, as the name suggests, puts a city in your pocket, or at least the ingredients for one. At its most basic, you'll need to balance the building of required zones, commercial, residential, and industry, as well as keeping residents in work, housed, and entertained. And their happiness comes from how safe they feel, how good the environment is, and the amount of congestion on the roads. If you love city builders, then there is no doubt you will love Pocket City. Next up, we have Golf Club Wasteland. This is a game of mini-golf set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. The art style is minimalist, resisting the temptation to cover everything in a blood-scorched marks and ooze. The whole scheme, especially the background, does a wonderful job of conveying the desolation of this world. And you play as an interplanetary pilot from Mars in an isolation shoot with a jetpack. The controls are easy and the challenges are fun, and overall it's a fun game to play. Now next up we have PUBG Mobile. I am pretty sure you're familiar with this game because it's pretty popular, but for the people who don't know what this game is about, it's a battle royale type game that pits you against 99 other players in a heart-pounding survival scenario, where you'll need to scavenge for loot, explore the map, and stay in safe zones while taking out your competition. Next up we have the Coma. You play as Yongo, a high school student at Sewa High. He has a very creepy dream and then he learns at the school the next day that a fellow student committed suicide. It turns out that there is a murderer in the school though, and your goal is to figure out that what the heck is going on. And you'll also need to avoid the murderer too. That is kind of an important part of the game. All in all, it's a very fun and intuitive mystery game. Next up we have This War of Mine. This game is played during a conflict in a fictional nation, where you have to control 3 survivors that try to keep surviving. And you begin in a record house that is mainly filled with rubble and a few supplies. You interact with the world by tapping on it, and there are places where you can search and fix, and a workbench where you can create new things. Next up we have Zombieville 2. This side-scrolling game comes with a simple purpose. Here are some zombies and kill them. For controls, players use a virtual analog stick to move and a tree of buttons for attacking with different weapons. Here you travel the infected city streets and kill as many zombies as possible. Zombies may be typically slow and shambling, but as users advance, the numbers become very high, and so you'll have to keep surviving. Next up, we have Retro City Rampage DX. The setup here is very similar to Grand Theft Auto, as you either go on missions for various shady characters, like with the main guy you're working for. You can advance the story with him, complete missions for others, or just run around town and blow stuff up. What makes Retro City Rampage so impressive is the way that it really nails the whole Grand Theft Auto experience while being more compact. Next up, we have Beat Cop. This is a point-and-click style adventure game that has you patrolling several blocks of 1980s New York City. You will do all the expected things a beat cop might do, like writing parking tickets or chasing down a bad guy. But what's so interesting though are the moral choices you'll encounter during your shifts. And you will have to make tough decisions, and each path has its own consequences. Next up, we have Return to Planet X. This is a first-person shooter inspired by classic first-person shooter franchises like Doom and Quake. The title seems to be pretty straightforward in that it involves the player destroying as many alien bugs as possible. And the game features lasers and flamethrowers, staples in any alien killing extravaganza. Next up, we have Stereobreak. Stereobreak is a fun, pixel-based shooter that works great on touchscreen devices. This is thanks to its intuitive controls that use simple tab-based commands for movement. And if you would like to try the game out, there's a demo available. And if you enjoy it, you can purchase this premium version. Next up, we have Amethlion. You explore, craft and survive as you discover ancient secrets in this open-world action-packed RPG adventure. An accidental discovery will leave you searching for clues, exploring forgotten places, and unraveling the mysteries of a lost race, all while fighting to survive. Next up, we have Escape Machine City. An imminent destruction is facing the city, and you're the only one left behind. You discover a strangely unique machine world that is trapped on a high cliff in a desolated wasteland, and you'll have to puzzle your way out. Now this is a next level escape game with stunning 3D graphics and visual effects. Overall, the gaming performance on the S10 Plus is great. There were no glitches and lags, and the phone only heats up when you've been gaming for hours, and the battery consumption is very low. All I have to say is the Exynos processor has held up great, and gaming on the S10 Plus is a breeze. So that was it for this video guys. Do leave a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon if you don't want to miss out on some more upcoming content. And as always, thanks for watching. This is Saman signing out.